Hey everyone, it's Wowous. We're here with Heroes of the Storm, and today we're talking about Stukov the Healer. Stukov is one of my favorite characters at the moment, one of my favorite heroes in the game, and I want to talk with you about the different talent choices that I make, heroic choice, sort of my gameplay with Stukov. Stukov can be a really powerful healer, but also a pretty good damage dealer, and I think I show that off in this replay pretty well. So in terms of what you're going to think about at level one, we're looking at the two team compositions first. So you see on my team, we have myself as Stukov, we've got a Rainer, we've got a Cal, we've got a Jaina, and we've got a Murky. So overall, a very, very squishy team, a mostly range team, with the exception of myself and Murky. And then on the opposing team, you've got a Butcher who's going to be, somebody that we really need to watch out for, a Medivh who's just kind of annoying, a Nazebo that will get really powerful late game, a Nova that just sort of can pick off some folks, especially our low health heroes, and then a Brightwing, which is just an effective support. In terms of what you want to pick at level one, Spine Launcher, which is the first choice, is by far the best in terms of win rate and in popularity. It's not the number one most popular build, but it's the highest win rate for a pretty popular build. The biggest downside to Spine Launcher is that you become a ranged hero. So if you have a team of all melee heroes, it's a really great choice. If you're in a team like this, I prefer to keep myself as a melee hero. So instead, I went with Low Blow. Low Blow uses your E to do more damage. So you can see here, if you hit somebody that's at low health there, you're going to be able to really take them down very quickly by doing critical damage to them. So you have really, I think, two choices at level one. It's really Spine Launcher if you want to go range, or Low Blow, which is going to increase your damage here. So you see we get off to a pretty good start here. We're already up a little bit on the other team. We're collecting quite a bit of the gems there, and we're going to take out Brightwing very quickly, and you can see here the key with Stukov overall is to use your healing and to see how it spreads here. You want to keep your team obviously as healed up as possible, and utilize your D whenever possible, your bio switch to really maximize that healing once it's on to maybe 2 or 3 different players, especially in team fights as the game goes on. As we get here up here, we're getting to level 4, and you can see that I take One Good Spread. And so One Good Spread is the talent that as your Q, which is your healing, jumps from hero to hero, it lowers the cooldown. Now, mana can be an issue on Stukov, so you have to be really careful about how frequently you're healing. So you can see here throughout the game, there's going to be a lot of times that my team is pretty close to full health, so you obviously don't want to over heal when you don't have to, but your mana build back up. Use fountains kind of regularly if you find yourself healing an awful lot. And I'm going to do a quick turn in here to just kind of make sure that I don't die with almost 10 of them in my pocket. And then we see here the enemy team kind of rotates down on us, and I throw a heal because now my team is starting to need to be healed up. And then you bio switch very quickly, right, once it's hit all 3 people, to get them up to full health more quickly. You see here, I'm using my W a little bit just to sort of keep the aggression off me. As there's 2 of them, it's a 2-on-1 until Cal gets down here, or excuse me, Jaina gets down here. Now, the key against any sort of Butcher, right, is to make sure that Butcher can't accumulate 200 stacks very quickly. What you want to do is ensure that he doesn't get any easy kills, and especially when you're a hero like Stukov, you need to be careful. You'll see here I'm going to pull him back all the way to my Rainer. You want to try to pull him as deep into your team as possible so that he has to make the decision of, do I continue the attack or do I cancel the attack because I'm about to run into the rest of the enemy team back there. So you just don't want to be caught so far out of position that you can't get back to your team. And especially if you're low on health, you can't give Butcher free kills. Butcher is a feast or famine character. He either does very, very well or he gets crushed, and you need to be a part of that objective is to crush him as quickly as possible and not let him build up stacks. And remember that he loses stacks up until he completes his quest, so you just want to make sure that you're doing as much as you can to harass him in return, and not let him really build up his strength. And I think we do a really good job of doing that throughout the game, and you'll see that as that continues forward. make sure that you use your E like this here. I drop it on Butcher, even though I know I'm not going to do a ton of damage to him, to stop him from being able to turn in. So your E is a really effective way to block objectives. And you see here we get a double kill pretty quickly on Butcher and Brightwing. That's a great 1-2 punch. If you take out their healer, you're taking out their #1 damage dealer in the game, and now they're left with Nova and some specialists. And I'm going to turn off camera lock here for a second to run up here and just show you. So Murky's doing a great job up here, right? He's off lane, he's pushing. He's already taken down both towers, and now we're coming into having the spiders drop, and we've got Murky's done his job as specialist and taken out those 2 towers. And actually, Murky, I guess, is no longer a specialist because it doesn't exist anymore, but you know what I mean. We've got these 2 towers already taken out, and then on the bottom, we've got these 2 towers already taken out. So we managed to push all 3 lanes. Both offlaners did a great job while we were mid of pushing their lane, and we were able to do the same and get this lane pushed. So now the spiders drop. They're already down both towers, and the spiders are hitting their forts directly. You want to do everything you can in this match to really cause the momentum to swing as hard as you can, as quickly as you can, because once we take out these forts, remember the catapults are going to start coming, and they're going to be in a situation where every 3rd wave a catapult's coming, and now they have to deal with that potentially in all 3 of their lanes right off the bat. And again, we're only 5 minutes into the match, 5 minutes 50 seconds in, and you're pushing all 3 lanes almost to their base. And this is typically how you see those wins that happen in a very short time. They have to push back all 3 lanes simultaneously, and they're in trouble. So they're already down 2 levels. We just got our ultimate. So let me talk just very quickly about what I do at level 7, since we skipped over that. And I like to take Growing Infestation. It tends to have a very good win rate, a very high pick rate. It gives you that broader lurking arm, but it gives it a timer on it. I don't see that being an issue. You're not going to sit around lurking arm all day on anyone. So you might as well get in there, do as much damage as you can, hit as wide a range of folks as you can. And you can see here I'm sitting here with 18 gems. I'm just trying to keep these folks pushed back to give us some more time to, again, turn in more gems. I pick up the 1 gem on my way back, and we're going to turn in right again, and we're going to be basically back at 55. We've already got 46, and we're turning in a ton right here. So that's what you want to do, is you want to push and then run back and gem. Push, run back and gem. The more you can do that, the less likely it is that the opposing team will really have any ability to either push the lanes or turn the gems, because the objective in this match, specifically in Tomb of the Spider Queen, is to avoid the other team getting the spiders at all, if possible. In a lot of games it's not going to be possible, but if you can do it, if you can keep the lanes pushed, it just makes it that much more difficult, because they have to travel so far away from their base to get to the gems at this point. And at the same time, you see here we're picking up some of the mercenaries. At level 10 for Stukov, I personally prefer the shove. I think both are good choices, but I find more the shove to be a little bit more effective for me. I think you can really create some game-changing plays with it if you can get one off, especially in the right direction. You can use it defensively or offensively, and I like that you can shove somebody the wrong way across the map like that. If I had maybe a little bit of a better angle, I could have maybe pushed them all the way back, and they're going to get a kill off on me there. And there's not a whole lot we could have done different. I think it just wasn't the perfect engagement to go on there, and we had 2 of our heroes down at the bottom, so it was a 3-on-5 essentially, and that was I think a mistake on our part and on my part to continue that engagement and not call for a retreat. So certainly that was not our best moment in the game, but it's something that I think we're going to very quickly recover from. And you see there we've already taken out 3 of their folks, so it's now they're down 3, we're down 2, and I'm going to pop back up here. And we're up here at level 13. At level 13, you definitely have a couple of choices here. I went with It Hungers, I believe, and that again is just a personal choice. They're all pretty good choices. They all have essentially the same win rate, so it's a matter of personal preference, but I prefer sort of the lurking arm additions in general. They tend to be a little bit more effective for me in my play style. And you see there, you can use the shove as just kind of a quick stun for Stukov against this, and now he'll be able to finish him up Actually, I finished him up there. But you'll see that that was again the level 1 talent there that that I took. That you can really do a lot of damage when that Brightwing is at low health. But you can use the shove to just push them against the wall somewhere in the wrong direction. So now Brightwing is kind of stuck, off to the side, and to loop back here. You're here. You push Brightwing back this way, and now he's got nowhere to go. He's either going to go this way around, or he's going to go this way around. So you really want to just push people out of position with this. And we're going to take down this top fort very, very quickly. And now we have constant catapults. You see right here we've got the butcher going at me. And again, I just shove him to get him out of the way. And yes, I get killed there, but I think that was a good trade. A butcher for me is okay in this game. Typically you're not going to want to trade your healer for an assassin, but in Butcher's case, I think it's okay because again, anything to stop him from getting those stacks built up. In the meantime, Murky's doing a great job here, and we'll take a quick look at the stats. So you can see Murky here is just out pushing everybody. Nazebo is getting a pretty good push on the opposing team, but it's just not enough compared to the rest of our team. In the meantime, you see here, you got Cal, he's already up at 5 kills, Rainer's up at 4. I've got 4 kills and 6 assists, so overall a very successful game thus far. And then we've got basically all the lanes pushed up here. We're basically at their fort already. They're going to grab this Merc camp, but you're going to see we're going to push this pretty quickly. I must have fallen asleep here for a second. As I look at that, I'm just chilling in the base for a moment, but I'm running out now, so we'll be on our way. And again, we're just pushing back this mercenary camp, letting the other lanes push. This top lane is going to, you can see the catapult's effectiveness in the top lane is that, the catapult can just basically by itself wipe out minion waves. Your waves are going to push forward with these catapults, and with 2, this is going to push very, very hard until Nazebo comes up here to push it back. Meanwhile, we get back to the team fight, and we're going to lock our camera back on so that we can take a look and watch this pretty closely. You can see here all the green, right? That's my Q, and now we're just pushing back the lane using Lurking Arm, doing as much damage as possible, and that should be your goal, is you use Lurking Arm to really push back those minion waves. You got a Butcher here, we're going to slow him down with our W, and then we take him out, and Medivh uses his ultimate just to slow us down there, which is no big deal. We've got a lot of push. We've got Murky, we've got my Lurking Arm, we've got Jaina's Blizzard, so any of these folks can basically wave clear, and that's what we're really utilizing. Is our team is built around each player has a pretty good wave clear, and this is a quick match. And a nice save there by Rainer to jump in front of it for me. I don't know that it would have killed me, but it would have been pretty close. And you always want to try to do that if you can to help out your teammates and take a little bit of that Nova damage to spread it apart on the triple tap. And you see here we're just going to push and push and push. And I'm feeling pretty good about it here. So again, we're healing up. We're using that D, and at this point, I've grabbed the level 16. I believe it's Super Strain that gives you the ability to use your bio switch. Where is it? Oh, sorry, it's Pox Populi. So you can see the bio switch no longer moves your healing pathogen, but sets its duration to 3 seconds. So it gives you that extra healing. You use your D, your bio switch, and then it basically restarts that healing. And sorry, at level 13 there, it's Lingering Spines. I forgot that you can click over these and see them here. So yeah, Lingering Spines, that persists. The Pox Populi, the Bioswitch no longer removes when you use that D. So that really increases your overall healing. And you can see here, in terms of healing, I'm out healing, Stukov's never going to do a super huge amount of healing. He doesn't have necessarily the same direct healing as like Lieutenant Morales, but he can do a good amount of healing, and he can do a lot of healing of an entire team, and that's really where his effectiveness is. When you're together as a team, he can keep everybody healed up, but he can't really do any sort of burst. It's all healing over time. The little bit of a burst you have is with that bio switch, and that's really where his talent comes in. And again, we're going to just keep pushing the lane here. We're up against, let's see, a Nova, a Nazebo, getting the Nazebo, just pushing them out of there. And again, at this point, you have a very low cooldown on a massive shove. You have a 20-second cooldown, so you want to use it as much as possible. I tried to get a save in there, but it just isn't going to be enough. And now we've got these folks right on top of me. You see Cal's coming up towards us, seeing what he can do to get me out of this situation. He drops his flame right down on top of them, and it gives us just enough time to escape. It makes them sort of pause and say, geez, do I really want to engage here against these three heroes? And the answer for them is probably not. Murky, in the meantime, comes up from the bottom, a very helpful distraction here to just sort of split this team up. Meanwhile, we go front here, and I just keep pushing just a little bit up on them. Now, remember, another thing about Stukov that a lot of people don't think about necessarily is that his melee attack does a lot of damage right off the top. So he has a very slow attack, but it does a lot of damage. So if you run up on somebody and hit them with your hand, you're going to do an awful lot of damage. So just keep that in mind. It's something that maybe comes by a little unexpected when you first start playing Stukov, or if you don't play him very often, is he does a lot of damage. He just doesn't hit very often. Turn in again, and we're getting very close to being able to summon another wave, which should pretty much take care of everything. We've got everything pushed down. We're up against really their core, and we just need some folks to turn in. And I think I spend some time kind of pinging here and signaling to Murky that he should be turning in, especially he's just going to kind of watch what's going on. And there's sort of my rapid ping of, hey, maybe you want to turn in. You've got 11. We just need 9. But he doesn't quite get the picture there. So I like to remind people, hey, gems, maybe don't forget about those. And a nice little escape there by Murky. Meanwhile, 3 of our teams, our Rainer, our Jaina, our Cal, they're up here against the boss. They're very quickly going to melt this boss down. And meanwhile, I stand here, and why am I here? Well, my team is doing pretty well in terms of health, right? They're not going to die against this. And I just want to keep the enemy team from thinking, oh, they're all up. How many times have you played and you've seen, hey, the entire enemy team is missing? Then everybody knows they're at the boss. But if you've got a Murky here and you've got a Stukov sort of aggressively pushing here, that's going to be their focus. They're not going to assume that the other 3 players are at the boss necessarily unless you're at a high level of play. So especially when you're early on, make sure that you're splitting your team. And if 3 of your heroes can take on the boss itself, do that so that you can distract them and not have their entire team try to ambush you at the boss. One of the biggest mistakes I see new players make is that they always want to 5-man everything. You don't necessarily want to 5-man everything. It's comfortable to be in a group of 5, but there are times where it's more effective and more strategic to split. We shoved that Brightwing right into the core to kill him, and now you see Butcher here kind of making his last stand, but it's just not going to be enough. We got the boss here, we've got all the spiders here, and that's really going to be GG. At level 20, I forgot to mention I take push comes to shove. Not a lot of choices here for Stukov at level 20, but you see here, if you do kind of a longer shove, it reduces your cooldown to 5 seconds, and it slows the target, so just a little bit of help, but I don't think Stukov actually has very good choices at level 20, so I almost always go with that choice. So hopefully that was enjoyable too. You see we get the MVP here with 6 kills, 11 assists, 2 deaths, in the best healing in the game at 35%. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If you'd like to see more of Heroes of the Storm, definitely like, comment, and subscribe. I continue to do kind of these tutorial videos. Those seem to be well received by the community, and I'm going to continue to do those. And so if there's a hero you'd like to see, I'm pretty good at most of them, so definitely let me know. All right, thanks so much.